Well, it's funny actually, when I used to live in the States, I was teaching art, but I wasn't making any art. I was not an artist. I was just a normal 9-to-5-er, and I loved my life, but I just felt like something was missing. Eventually, I started to get this feeling that I needed to get out in the world again. I needed to go experience other places. And being that my wife is from Berlin, and I had visited there many, many times and knew that it had one of the most thriving art scenes of any city I'd ever been to, it just kind of felt like a perfect match. I had been messing around with painting a little bit, but nothing too serious. And I think very naively, I just assumed I'll move to Germany and become a successful painter, which should have never ever happened, but somehow, by the stroke of God, it did. My first year or so in Berlin was trying to learn the language, trying to become acquainted with the culture and figure out if I could be a painter. I got myself a studio space. I would show up every day. That was my main thing, show up. And if I'm there and I'm moving pigments around, I was just trying to experience as much as I could to find out what I wanted to do. And then one of the big revelations was I got linked up with a couple of graffiti guys that were jumping fences and painting on walls with spray paint. I was like, that sounds cool. Like, a lot of the artists that I follow come from that world. Maybe I should give it a try. It's very rare that a 35-year-old man is jumping fences and starting his graffiti career, but I was like, who cares? Let's try, let's see. And from my little bit of painting with oils, the spray can came really naturally to me. I had done a lot of small projects, a couple group shows here and there. I started my own radio show in Berlin where I was interviewing other artists and sort of using that as a tool to pick the brains of people that I admired. I was trying to get myself into a position where if a lucky break came, I would be ready to snatch it up, and that's exactly what happened. I was offered to come paint at the Long Beach Museum of Art in this big group show, and it was by far the biggest break in my career, and I had no business being invited to that. The lineup was crazy with people like Crayola and Jeff Soto and all these artists who I'd been following for years, and now I get to come paint inside of a museum alongside these guys. And I knew that this was an opportunity that I had to really come at. So I painted the bangingest piece I've ever painted and put every ounce of energy into it, and people noticed. That was my coming out party. As much as I love painting in the studio and I love the result of a 1-month oil painting, when I'm out painting a wall in the streets, I've got harnesses on, I'm hanging from walls, I'm moving using my whole body, and it's like sport to me. And I've started to realize that I need both of these aspects of my life to feel sort of fulfilled. If you're painting a mural, you're showing up in someone else's neighborhood and putting something there that they maybe didn't ask for, maybe don't even want. So if you can highlight a piece of them in it, then it's easier for people to accept it, to connect to it. And I always say, when I come to a city, I'm painting a mural, I'm there for like 2 weeks. But then when I leave, the mural is not mine anymore. It's the city's, it belongs to them. I may never even see it again. So I want them, number one, to enjoy it, and number two, feel like it belongs there. I don't want to be an intrusive artist. I want to give a gift and have people enjoy it once I've left.